This show is full of talent.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Dead air.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Dead Air Podcast. I'm Nick.
And I've just assembled a bike.
That is Rob. And this week's podcast we have a very special guest. Mr. Kev Orkian has been on the phone with us, all the way from South Africa.
Yep.
And we chatted to him about Britain's Got Talent and his career and Paul Daniels and all kinds of other things. That's coming up very, very soon. Empty shops get new Windows installation. This is the story.
Hang on, Windows, isn't that a bit unfair to Apple?
No, it's not that kind of Windows.
Right.
This is a different kind of Windows.
Double glazing.
I know this is a technology podcast.
Right.
But this story is about the kind of windows that people have in their shops so that people can see inside the shops.
Okay.
So, have you ever seen a butcher's shop, for example?
Yes.
You know, the butcher shops have windows and you can see through them.
The glass windows.
Yeah, the glass windows.
Right, I'm with you now. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can see, I don't know, there might be some meat hanging up there. They might have some sausages in the window. You know the kind of thing, I'm sure.
Carcasses.
Yeah, carcasses. That's just an example. There's lots of other kinds of shops. Well, there's a town in Northern Ireland who've decided they don't want any empty shops anymore. So they've spent, they haven't spent £1 million doing this. This is part of a £1 million package. They've put stickers in empty shop windows of shop fronts. So it looks like there's a shop there. When you walk past the shop, it looks like it's a shop.
Yeah.
But when you stop and look at it, you'll realise that it's actually just big stickers covering the window of pictures of a shop. So it just looks like it's a shop.
So there's...
In fact, even as I'm describing it, it sounds so ludicrous, I can't even believe it's a real thing. But it is a real thing. We'll put a link to the story in the on the website. Because it's just crazy.
But couldn't they have spent the money on giving them free rent and rates?
If you want to get people in shops and you've got £1 million to spend, just say, look guys, open up shops, free rent for 6 months. There you go. Loads of people will apply.
That's very expensive rent, £1 million though, isn't it? You can give them more than 6 months for £1 million.
Well, imagine there's 10 shops that are empty.
Right.
How much does it cost to rent a shop for a whole year?
10,000.
£10,000. So if there's 10 shops empty, that's £100,000 worth of rent.
Right.
The council could have just paid the rent
So we
for
could
10
have
empty shops.
100 shops filled with people.
For £1 million, you could have had 100 shops, fully paid rent for a year. You could have put a thing in the town hall, a thing saying, "Come and rent a shop. It's free." You know, obviously there'd have to be some sort of application process so people could. You wouldn't just want anyone opening a shop. They'd have to prove that they could run a business.
It doesn't really matter. You could have anything.
No, because you just get people going there and using it as somewhere to live and stuff. And
Well, apart from somewhere to live, but you could have anything in the shop, though. Surely it's better than a sticker.
Well, yeah, but you want to have decent shops, though. If you're going to let someone have a shop for
the
a
stickers
year,
they've done are really nice shops looking.
they make
shops.
it looks like makes it look like a proper shop, yeah. But it's totally ridiculous. Sony have made a big announcement this week. They've given the price of the PlayStation 3 as £349, which is cheaper than the Xbox. And they've also said that they're going to let you play games on it.
Wow.
Well, do you remember we were talking about the Xbox last week?
Yeah, I've got some news on it.
Go on.
Apparently you can give the game to one friend, and only one friend, providing that friend has been your friend for more than 30 days.
Oh, my goodness.
And you can trade it into stores, but they have to be registered with Microsoft, so Microsoft do get their kickback.
Well, Sony have gone the other way. They're just saying, yeah, we'll just carry on like we always have done. Microsoft have had a lot of flack because when they were asked, what do people do if they haven't got an internet connection, the answer they gave was, well, we've got a product for people without internet. It's the Xbox 360. So, not a really popular answer. Everyone's been complaining about it.
listening to the Dead Air Podcast with Nick and Rob. La da 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 da.
Britain's Got Talent is finally over, and
You sound upset that it's over.
well, you know, it's the only bit of variety on the telly.
I don't really watch much telly, but I will admit that I did see a few bits from Britain's Got Talent on the internet.
So the Hungarians won.
Yep.
So I've come up with an idea for the BBC.
Okay.
We're going to.
Isn't Britain Got Talent on ITV?
It
though?
is, but you know, BBC always have a rival show.
Okay.
So we're going to have the Eurovision Talent Contest.
Oh, that won't work because all the European countries will all vote against us, like they do on the song contest.
Yeah.
So we won't win that either. I mean, it's coming to something when Britain can't even win in a competition called Britain's Got Talent. You know, it's bad enough that we can't win the Eurovision Song Contest. We can't even win Britain's Got Talent.
Yes, but here's the thing. I agree that we won't actually win the Eurovision Talent Contest, but we could have a Britain's Got Talent style audition process to find the one that we're going to enter into the Eurovision Talent Contest.
Right, got you.
So,
Although
in a
that is
way...
a bit complicated.
No, so each week we'd have like loads of different acts on every week, and we'd vote and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of a few months, we'd have the winner of the British entry, which is essentially Britain's Got Talent. So we've, ticked that box. And then we'd enter them into the European one. But we'd also get to see all the European countries and seeing their best bits of talent. And we could see their entries of like each audition process. And it would last all year round, so we'd have loads of variety on telly.
Right. It sounds great. But it would just be singers, though.
No, we'd ban singers.
I'm completely confused. What does this have to do with the Eurovision Song Contest?
Nothing. It's Eurovision Talent Contest.
Oh, right. Now I understand.
So we ban singers
Yeah.
unless they can sing and set fire to themselves or something else. Singing is for the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
And every other talent is for the Eurovision Talent Contest.
Gotcha. Right. Why don't they just ban singers from Britain's Got Talent then?
I've no idea. I think if you're under 10 years old, then that's a talent.
If you can sing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyone, well, maybe a bit older, but
There's enough programmes for singers anyway. They've got The Voice, they've got Pop Idol.
Pop Idol? When was
Yeah,
the last?
you know Pop Idol.
You know, you
the
don't
one-
watch telly much.
Yeah.
That was like
Pop Idol's massive. It's the one where they have people go in through auditions and then they reject some people. You must have seen Pop Idol.
that's
It's
the X
huge.
Factor.
The X Factor.
Yeah. You know, you say you don't watch telly much.
What's Pop Idol then?
I don't know, something about 20 years ago.
I don't know. I can't keep up with these TV programs. They keep changing them all the time. It was bad enough when they changed the name of Emmerdale Farm to Emmerdale. That was the beginning of the decline, if you ask me.
Was that when you got rid of your telly?
Dead Air Podcast, all the latest news and a little bit of fun on the Dead Air Podcast with Nick and Rob, yeah.
So we phoned Kev Orkian in South Africa. We did have a few technical difficulties, to be fair. Turns out getting through to South Africa is not that easy.
No.
We tried to do it with Skype at first, but the internet connection there wasn't very good. So we ended up just phoning him.
You are listening to the Dead Air Podcast.
Yes, King's Hotel. Good morning. Marika speaking.
Could you put me through to room number 5, please?
Please hold.
Thank you.
Hi guys, how are you?
Great, thanks. How are you? I'm Nick.
I'm Rob.
I'm all right. I'm loving South Africa, but it's absolutely manic. These last 3 days have just been manic. I haven't had time to myself at all yet, and it's just been crazy. You know, the interviews, the TV interviews, the radio interviews. It's just been non-stop. It's been brilliant.
So they love you in South Africa then?
Do you know what? I'm very lucky. They really do. I've created a very good fan base here, and the audiences are really up for supporting what I do. So it's great.
Well, that's good to hear. When are you planning on coming back to the UK, or are you just going to stay in South Africa?
I don't
now?
know really, Nick. I mean, to be honest with you, it's sun, sand, and sea, and you want me to come back home?
Well, we did have some sun last week.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah. Last week.
It's not nice today.
Bless you, pal. It's really lovely here. It's actually very sunny and blue skies. It is I have to be honest, it is winter here. That's what they say is winter, because when it's our summer, it's their winter. So, you know, it does get dark here after about 5:30, 6. But to be honest with you, the weather's so lovely. It's a little bit chilly, but lovely.
Okay, very good. So what have you got lined up then for the rest of the day? Are you just being interviewed by lots of people?
Yeah, I am. I've got some TV interviews today with some TV channels here. I've got another radio interview later on in the afternoon. I've then got an interview with 2 national newspapers here after 3 o'clock, and then I'll make my way to the theatre for 7. And the show starts at 8 o'clock.
So how would you best describe your act then? What sort of act is it? I mean, I know you play the piano, I know you're a comedian, but how would you sum your act up?
I think it's basically a comedy piano experience. That's what it comes under. It's you know, I'm a classical concert pianist and have been for many years, but I just decided I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to do something that was funny. I certainly wanted to do something that was unique and original, and that wasn't really around anymore. And you know, my heroes like Victor Borge, Dudley Moore, Les Dawson, they were all piano comedians. And even though we've got a couple of kind of renowned piano comedians, i.e. Tim Minchin, and a couple in Las Vegas, there's not much around. I mean, Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey, I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, well, Bill Bailey's our main, our main man when it comes to piano comedy. But what he does, what I do, and what Tim Minchin does are very, very different on the piano. And it's just a different genre of musical comedy, really.
Now, you first burst onto our screens, as far as I'm concerned, on the Britain's Got Talent. Was that 2010? Was it?
That was in 2010. Yeah, I did that show. It was a really good experience, to be honest with you. I was asked to go on, and I thought, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? And at the end of it, after kind of 3 or 4 months of contemplating, I thought, you know what, I'll go on, and I'll just try it out for the experience. And I really didn't think. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really go into it thinking I'd go and win. I didn't really think I'd go and...
Why not? You're very talented.
Well, thank you. But, you know, with programs like this, it's never about as harsh as it may seem. It's not always about the talent.
No.
It's more about the entertainment, really. And it's about the feel-good TV show. And Britain's Got Talent is a very, very good feel-good show. You know, people go on there, they see people because they want to see bad people fail, they want to see good people succeed. You know, and I think that's what the show is about. So when I went on, I had no premonitions I'd do anything that was going to get me through to the finals. But you know, what I did certainly seemed to interest the audiences and certainly interest the people at home. So I was very lucky, very, very lucky to get through to the semis.
Do you think they should rename the show to the Eurovision Talent Contest?
Well, now, yes. I mean, I read a joke the other day that made me absolutely holler, because I thought, you know, those Hungarians who went through...
they were very good, to be fair to them.
They were incredible. I mean, I have to say, they were incredible. What a talent. And let's face it, our talent from Britain was equally as good. I mean, we had Jack Carroll, who was fantastic. I mean, what a great inspiration to people in our country who obviously sit back and think, you know, I'm not going to do it because I've got an issue with, you know, I'm in a wheelchair, or I'm ill, or I you know, I've got insecurities, or I've got well, basically some of our very own war heroes, you know, who go out and come back with limbs missing or whatever, and you see them competing in the Olympics. I just think that kind of strength to go through Jack Carroll was incredible, and some of my friends, very close friends, Francine Lewis and Steve Hewlett, who went through as well to the finals. I thought that was great, but like anything, you don't really. I mean, my personal opinion is you don't really go in expecting to win. I think you go in expecting to do the best you can, and that's what the show's about, I think. And deservedly, you know, Attraction won.
It certainly got your name out there, didn't it? As far as
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, my name was around before that, long before that. I kind of got into the industry as a stand-up from about 2004. Before that, I was in musical theatre in the West End, and I'd done 10 years of that. And before that, I was a concert pianist for 5 years, you know. So I'd always been around, and in the industry, I was known. Around in the industry, I was known, and certainly to booking agents and casting directors, people would know who I was. But obviously, you know, everyone has their own way of getting into the business, and certainly, you know, people at home would not have known me until I actually got onto the Britain's Got Talent scene. So having that name recognition was certainly a great asset.
So you've been playing the piano since what age?
3.
3? Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I started when I was 3 years old. It was my mum's dream.
I was going to say, is it something that your mum pushed or your father pushed, or, you know?
It was my mum's dream all the way. Mum had a massive love for the piano, and it was something that she was never ever allowed to do. So, because I mean, simply, you know, Mediterranean women were never allowed to be artistic. They were just there for cooking, cleaning, and ironing, and all that rubbish. So, unfortunately, the old traditions didn't die down with my family. My grandparents were very strict, so my mum never ever had that opportunity to learn the piano. So when I was around from about the age of 3, she said to me, "Look, Kev, I want you to learn the piano, and that's what I want you to do." So it was her dream that I adopted, but then it became my dream. So, and I thank her for it now.
Well, I'd like to talk to you for a minute about Paul Daniels, if I can, because we met him recently, and he talked about you in a very nice way. He said that he toured with you and that you were a wonderful person to work with. Can you give us a bit of inside dope on him?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll be absolutely honest with you. There are very few people in this business that are legends and true legends. And one of them that I worked with at Christmas was Dame Edna Everage. When I did pantomime with her, let's say, in Wimbledon. And there is a difference between artists who are in this business and have been in this business for years and years and years. And there are those who have been in this business for years but are legends. And legends are made up of humble, caring, and certainly very talented people. But people who don't necessarily tell you they are. And Paul Daniels is one of those people, because Paul Daniels goes around. I mean, he would entertain anywhere and everywhere, and he has done when I've been on tour with him. You know, we were on tour for 2-3 months, I think it was, and it was just incredible seeing the passion of what he loves doing, which is magic. And every single day in that car touring with him was a joy. It was just not tedious. It wasn't monogamous. It wasn't, I think monogamous is the wrong word.
I think you meant monotonous.
It was monotonous. That's the word I was looking for. My goodness, my grammar. I've come to South Africa for 3 days. I've lost my English. But, you know, it was just one of those joyous moments. And the thing was, I learned a lot from him as well. I know it sounds odd because obviously I'm a musical comedy act. He's a magical comedy act. But the comedy is our passion, of course, but also our entertainment. I think getting on stage and entertaining is a passion for both of us. And it was just a joy learning from him. I can't tell you one bad thing about the man. I really can't. He was just a joy to be with.
One of the questions we put out this week, based around Paul Daniels, was he tweeted that he'd love to be in a film. And one of the questions we've been asking a lot of people is, what film role would you like to see him in? Is there a film?
Me personally, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him in a really tragic role of an old man who's failed to become a magician, because he hasn't. He's completely the opposite end of that. He's become a man who's become a legend worldwide from being a magic act and an entertainer, and a very humble one at that. So I'd like to see him completely opposite end of the spectrum. An old man who's become completely a failed magician, nowhere to succeed, no one likes him, his magic is awful, and he's gone into depression, and he becomes an alcoholic who ends up trying to struggle through entertainment. I'd love to see him play the opposite end.
Wow.
I was going to say...
That's a summer blockbuster right there.
I reckon I could edit that to make it sound the other way.
Yeah, we could edit it. We could just have the question, what do you think of Paul Daniels, and then have you saying that.
Well, you see, that's just terrible. I'm going to phone him after this conversation to let him know.
Now, you've worked with some very famous people, as we said, Paul Daniels. You've also met the royal family. What was that like?
That was incredible. I mean, I think anyone will say the same thing. When you meet royalty, it's a different ballgame. It's a different kind of feeling. You know, you're on stage, you're thinking, wow, I've brought my act to such a level that I'm actually meeting royalty now, and I've had the privilege of meeting, you know, more than just one or two royal families, and not just in England, you know, in the Middle East as well. I've had the privilege of meeting different royal families from Dubai and Oman and certainly other Middle Eastern countries. So it's been great, you know, and obviously our royal family is second to none for me, you know, and to have met Prince Philip, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, you know, Prince Charles on a couple of occasions. It's just been, it's incredible. I don't know. Have you ever met any royalty before?
I've met Paul Daniels. That's as royal as I get.
That's magic royalty.
He's a god.
Yes.
I've seen the Queen twice. Which she's
Have
been,
you really?
Yeah, she's been to Bangor, the town where we're based, on 2 occasions, and I've seen her. She's very short. I didn't speak to her.
Yes, she is very short.
She's very. I couldn't believe how short she was, and that's what struck me.
You're talking height now, aren't you?
Yeah,
right. Okay.
She's much shorter than I imagined.
Bless her.
That's all lovely. I can say about the Queen, really. But I'll tell you this: I you know, I do love the Queen, but I was away from Britain for a couple of years, and I went to an embassy, and I went in the door of the embassy, and I don't really think I'm royal or anything like that. You know, I'm not a royalist, but I went in the door of this embassy, and they had a portrait of the Queen on the wall, and I just welled up when I saw this photograph of her. Because
that's fantastic.
You know, it brought back all my memories of Britain and home and stuff, and it was just... So the Queen is very special for me because I have that memory of seeing this beautiful photograph on the wall of the embassy, you know. But we want to talk to you about technology very, very quickly because we understand you're busy and you probably want to get off the phone with us.
No, absolutely fine. I'm enjoying this conversation. It's great, mate. Not a problem at all.
We are the Dead Air podcast. This is a technology podcast. We talk about technology from week to week, and we want to know, what are your views on technology? Are you interested in technology? Have you got a laptop, a computer? Do you have a good relationship with it?
You've stumbled upon the man that absolutely thrives on technology. I not only adore it, I try and live it every day of my life with the technology I have. My house is absolutely kitted out with technology, and I actually go to a lot of functions to see what's up and coming in the future, which completely blows my mind when I see some of the stuff that I cannot wait to experience.
Okay, that's brilliant. You're just the type of person we want then, because all the other people we talk to say, "Oh, I don't really like technology." quick questions for you: Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Mac or Windows?
Mac all the way.
Well, iPhone or BlackBerry?
iPhone all the way.
Oh wow, there you go. You're on my side of the fence.
Paul will not like you. He hates Apple.
Paul's got an iPad and he just can't stand it.
Yeah, you know why? Because Paul is actually a Windows baby. He actually works from a Windows laptop. So going from that then onto an iPad is very, it's just confusing, you know, because it's so much easier to use, you know, an iPad. Although to be fair, let's be absolutely honest here, Windows have come out with their own version, and I think it's very good. I have tried it out, and certainly a couple of my colleagues have.
Are you saying that you like Windows 8?
No, I don't. No, but some of my colleagues do.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, but you know, we don't like Windows 8. We've gone off Windows.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, no, some of my colleagues do. I'm a Mac baby all the way. I mean, I love Apple. Everything in my house is covered in Apple. It's Apple TV, Apple iMac, Apple iPads, both of me and my wife.
Are your walls
when my
Apple
twins,
white?
Oh, absolutely. And when my twins arrive in Christmas, I'm going to get them both an Apple iPad as well. I'm going to do the whole work.
So, what's the latest gadget you've bought?
Well, the latest gadget I got recently was a mobile camera thing for the house, which basically you put in your house, and then you can go all over the world and you can check what's going on at home if your house is empty. So I bought that recently.
Anyone broken in?
No, but we we're hoping someone will, so we can test it out.
Yes.
You know, it's,
well, give us your address. Give us your address, and we'll go around and have a look at all this really nice gear that you've got.
We'll have a play.
But no, I love it. I love technology. And some of the stuff that's coming out, you know, in 2015, 2016 is just incredible. I mean, memory plastic, which is the next thing that's coming out, I'm blown away by that.
You're our kind of man.
If things don't work out with the act, you can always come and work with us.
Mate, that'll be a pleasure. And Bangor's really nice as well, so I've been there many times, and I know it's lovely there. Are you near the seafront?
Yes.
We have the
that's
pier
lush.
just down the road from us.
Oh, you see. And when I feel like I'm losing out on doing a show, I'll just jump on the pier and go and do a number. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could do that.
They're building a new theatre, literally round the corner from us. Are you going to come up to North Wales and...
Listen, if I get an invite, I'll be there, mate.
Well, we did a show with Paul a few months ago. We sorted something out for him. So if we say the same to you, if you come to North Wales...
Absolutely.
Right, that's it.
Absolutely. You just let me know when and where, and I'll be there, mate.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now, have you got a keyboard in your hotel room? Do you tour with one, or do you just use
I do. I don't tour with a keyboard here. They've actually provided me one here in the hotel so that I can practice when I need to.
That's cool.
But the theatre has 2 grand pianos, so whenever I need to go in and warm up the fingers, I can go in 15, 20 minutes early and just give the fingers a quick round, just warm them up. But it's great, you know. I mean, the shows here are fantastic, and there's such support here as well. And we're sold out. We've got 32 shows, and it's a 700-seater theatre, and we sold out all 32 shows.
That's
Wow.
incredible. That is amazing. Well, congratulations on that, because that's an incredible
Thank
achievement.
you, guys. Thank
That
you
is
so
really,
much.
really good. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Kev.
You've really
You
given
too,
us
pal.
a good start to the day. And we just want to thank you again and wish you have a good day and a great tour, really.
Thank you so much, and you guys are brilliant. Thank you so much for the interview, and keep in touch, guys. I mean, I'm very serious when I say, if we can sort out a show later in the year, sometime in autumn or winter, I'll be more than happy to pop down and come and do a show for you.
Brilliant.
You can count on us. We will treat you like royalty. If you ask Paul,
God bless you,
you'll
pal.
find out how
Thank
well
you
we look
so
after
much.
him. All right, then.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Kev. Have
you
a
very
great
much.
day
Bye-bye
and a
now.
great
Take
tour.
care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye-bye now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Nick and Rob. I'm not Morgan Freeman, but this is Dead Air Podcast.
He said some lovely things about Paul Daniels, and you've been doing a bit of Paul Daniels' work this week, haven't you?
I've been asking people what film role they would like to see Paul Daniels in, because he made a tweet saying he would love to do a play or a film.
Yes, he did.
So I thought I'd ask everybody I saw,
And?
and they all said they'd like to see him in a courtroom drama.
Yeah, make sure you say drama, because if you say they want to see him in a courtroom, that makes you sound like he's done a crime or something.
Yeah, so they'd like to see him in a courtroom drama. And in fact, you said that one good film.
I think he'd be perfect in 12 Angry Men, which is one of those films that everybody should watch, because it's kind of like an instructional video of how to make a really, really good film with a minimal set. You know, it's just mostly takes place in one room. It's 12 guys sitting around a table just talking. But it's very, very good story. It moves at a really good pace, and he'd be great. He could be the guy who sort of votes not to convict the guy. Well, it kind of helps if you've seen the film. But the basic idea of the film is this guy's being up for murder, and the jury have to go into a room and decide if they're going to say that he's guilty or not guilty. So they have a vote, and one guy says that he thinks he's not guilty. And then over the course of the film, they're all arguing about whether he's guilty or not. I don't really want to tell you much more in case I kind of spoil it for you, but it's very good. And I can see Paul Daniels playing the role of the guy who said that he's not guilty.
How many stars?
5, without question.
5 stars.
There are actually 2 versions of the film as well, because there's the original version, which is in black and white.
That's available on YouTube.
They're both on YouTube. The new version, they kind of updated it a bit for the time, so they changed a little bit of the story and they added some extra bits. But the original version is the best in my
So the original black and white version on YouTube. Check it out.
Check it out. And imagine Paul Daniels in that role.
You are listening to the Dead Air Podcast.
You know the story Cinderella, and Cinderella gets turned into like a beautiful woman, and Pumpkin turns into a stagecoach.
Yeah.
She gets some glass slippers.
That's right.
And then midnight happens. Why is
I know what you're going to say.
Why is the glass slipper still glass?
I knew you were going to say that.
I just don't get it.
Why hasn't a glass slipper turned back into whatever it was before?
A shoe.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I don't get. Women's shoe sizes, they're like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Now, are you trying to tell me that, let's say Cinderella was a size 7, right? That no one in that town could wear a size 7 shoe?
Well, no, because everyone has slightly different feet, don't they? So if they were glass slippers, they would be perfectly made for her feet.
so they wouldn't fit on someone else's feet.
Yeah, but if she'd been wearing glass slippers all night, surely the following day she'd have swollen feet, and therefore the slippers wouldn't actually fit again. Surely the answer would be to do some sort of DNA testing. That would be the best way of guaranteeing.
Well, you would think that he would recognise the woman that he'd spent several hours dancing with and talking to, wouldn't you? That the biggest flaw in the story for me is the fact that he has to put a slipper on everyone's foot to see if he can find her. It's ludicrous. This guy spent several hours in the company.
Yeah,
of this
he
girl,
even tries the Ugly Sisters.
Yeah, why? Doesn't he remember what she looks like? And now there are no other people at this party. Surely you can immediately exclude everyone that was at the party. They are not going to be the girl because they were at the party.
Yeah.
So immediately you can leave those out, right? Your searching is going to be limited to girls who are between, say, 19 and 24. You're not going to be talking to 45-year-old women saying, "Can you try this shoe on?" So really, it probably only takes about an hour.
It wasn't a shoe.
Yeah, they could probably just say, "Can everyone come to the town hall who fits this description? We're looking for someone of this height, this build, this rough age." They could do it all in 20 minutes, shoe or no shoe. He could just go around looking at them all and go, "Yeah, it was her. I recognise her face." And they'd go, "Yeah, but she's dirty now and she's got rags on." And he'd go, "Yeah, so what? I was dancing with her. I was looking into her eyes. I know what she looks like."
I thought I had issues.
You don't have to be posh to listen to the Dead Air podcast. You don't need 4 years, no claims either.
I got some updates, more updates.
Go on then, give us an update.
James Whale last week, looking for his friend called Dave.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
We found him.
Who have we got next? Who have we got lined up for the next interview?
Debbie McGee, soon.
Debbie McGee. Now that's going to be a tricky one because we've got to actually go to Debbie McGee's house.
Well,
and she lives miles away.
She phoned us a few weeks ago, and we said we'd get back to her, and we haven't got back to her. So there is a slim chance that next time we phone her,
in all fairness, though,
she'll just hang up.
We did spend a whole day figuring out how we were going to get down there and stuff. So, we could have phoned her then. But that's not how we roll. We fly by the seat of our pants. That's the Dead Air podcast way.
Anyway, we've got to go now. So you can follow us on Twitter, which is at Dead Air Podcast. We're also on Facebook. Nick's not on Facebook anymore.
I have deleted Facebook.
So you can't get in touch with him. And we have a website, deadairwebsite.com.
I'm going to start a campaign.
Are you still going on about Facebook?
I'm going to try and get people to cut off Facebook. But what I need is a website where I can promote it. And I don't know of any websites now because I've got rid of Facebook, so I'll have to make another I was going to make a website called Nick's Facebook and just have just me on there. And then I could do my campaign and I'd have one like.
Anyway, good luck with that. See you next week.
You are listening to the Dead Air podcast. For more information, go to www.deadairwebsite.com.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Dum dum dum.
Da dum dum dum.
Dramatic music. Bum bum bum.